Even bro is there on the call.
Oh, are you getting the voice?
No, little bit, very little.
Yeah.
Not.
No,
Hey guys, are you able to hear? Are you able to see Nimi ma'am? Audience? Is the audio clear for all? Others, quickly?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
no? Loudly? Okay,
Yes, sir, it's fine.
fine, okay. All right, so we're getting thumbs up there. That means it's clear. Okay. Anyway, it's 7-1, and then we should respect the people who came on time. So there are now 31. Yeah, so people are joining. Okay, so let me take the pleasure of introducing Nimi ma'am for all of you. Devjit or Harita, you can take a print screen, put it on the chat for the records. Yeah. All right. Can you quickly put on your cams and just give a hi, welcome ma'am to ma'am. Everyone, just put on your cams and say good evening, welcome, whatever, and then yeah. So this is a big mix. Yeah, quickly, somebody. I can only say Sushant. Sushant, great ma'am, and then welcome. Nishayat, Atluri Vijay, yeah. Yeah, over to you, Nishayat, Sushant. Yeah.
Welcome, ma'am. We are glad to have you in this lecture series, ma'am. It's been a great series so far, and we are hoping to learn something new and useful from you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So
Welcome to the series.
what is the series number? Is it 9 or 8? Do you see the poster properly?
8.
Poster देखो कोई?
It's 9, sir.
9, right? So that means this is the 9th. So just for ma'am to understand. Ma'am, can you see it here?
Yes, yes, I saw the
So
poster that you sent.
within one semester, this is the 9th.
Nine guest
They've been
lecture.
different people, but you're the first one who will be doing the problematic, numbers, numericals, why a startup person should know how to play with numbers. So that was the thing which we called, and that's how it is. This is a very big, good mix, BCom, BBA, engineering, a mix of everyone. And just for the benefit of students, ma'am did her bachelor's in Delhi, under University of Delhi, and then went on to do her master's in MBA in Ranchi in XISS. Am I right? Xavier Institute of Social
Yes, sir. Xavier
Sciences.
Institute of
And
Social
then
Service.
she got placed in ICICI Bank, worked in Hyderabad, and then after about 3 to 4 years in financial industry, ma'am also worked in VITAP. All right. Before in the starting 2 years you were here or
2
3?
years. No, 2
2
years.
years.
Till
I
COVID
guess
started,
18,
I was there.
18, 19, just before COVID. She got to know it before itself. So, you know, anyway, so ma'am got married and now they're happily living in, ma'am got married in Pune. Now they came to Delhi. So ma'am is a financial advisor, plus doing her research and very good at Excel, very good at numbers. And students enjoyed when she also started a club when she was in BITAP, Bulls and Bears, about stock exchange, stock market, and so many engineering students used to do amazing activities then. That I'm talking about 2018, 19, and 20. So this is a very good batch, Nimi ma'am. It's a mix, and I want them to know why every startup, because they're writing business plans, they're saying, sir, I have an idea, everything is good, but full theory, you know. But what is this numbers? What is this break-even analysis? What should they know? Whether they're an engineer, say there are BCom students. So BCom students may know little bit, but why should everybody know what you're doing today? That's the thing. And I just want to share one picture before they start, and maybe this may, give little thought for them, so as to Let me show this. Just tell me somebody on the screen. Shant, others, is something on the screen there? Quickly.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. When is this date, by the way? Thursday, November 25th, 2021. That is today's news. Okay. But this article came in 2017. Okay. 2017, you can see here. Can one student quickly read the title, please? Only the title.
More than 90% of Indian startups fail in first 5 years. Lack of innovation, skills, and funding main reasons, as per IBM study.
As per the IBM study. Okay. So if 90% of the startups fail in the first 5 years, okay, there is something wrong somewhere, which all of us should need to know. And we should be happy that this is the first time in the history of India, maximum number of startups have started during the lockdown. 2020, 2021, it's nowhere, never, right? And more unicorns became during the lockdown. Unicorn, $1 billion US plus. So there is one way. There's a lot of good news, but then 90% of it failed. So should we fall under 90%, or should we be in that 10%? How, what? And ma'am, it's over to you. Thank you so much for coming. Today, ma'am is sitting in Delhi, right? So, and ma'am is basically from Kerala, but brought up, born, everything in Delhi. And her husband, Joel, is also, they have a company, they have a manufacturing plant of their own. They have a plant in Pune. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the very kind introduction. Okay, so I think sir has given a good brief and has set the tone for the class. So, okay, I just want to check, am I audible and visible to everybody?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Great. So at any point of time, if you're not able to see me or hear me, please do let me know, okay? Okay, I just want to quickly ask, why do you want to do a business? Why do you want to have a startup? Why not work for somebody? Is it not more safe? You can just unmute and start answering. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I think I just asked about internet and I immediately went offline. I'm sorry about that. Yes. So I'm not sure if you heard my question. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh. So why do you want to start your own business? Why don't you want to just work for somebody else? Is that not much more safe?
We have a freedom in starting our own business.
Okay. What else?
Own decision making.
Own decision making. Okay, great.
On passion. Ma'am, we get to explore a lot by starting a business.
You get to explore a lot. Okay, that's good.
We can do work on our passion, ma'am.
You can work on your passion. Yes, that's definitely there. Okay. So, would you also answer one of my very off-track question? What do you think is the major reason of stress, anxiety, panic, and depression in a lot of people in the world?
Intense workloads.
Workload, okay. What do you think is the major reason? So, broad level.
Failure in work.
Failure in work. So, what does it lead to?
Comparison, ma'am.
Sorry?
Comparison, ma'am.
Comparison. Okay. So I think at your age, comparison or the pressure might be the reason. But as you become an adult, the major fear or the major anxiety or depression factor would be financial insecurity, right? So The same applies to business. So when the business faces anxiety or panic or depression because of finances, we just say that it's not working anymore and it leads to shutdown, right? And for a human, that shutdown is eventually having all these mental illnesses, right? So for personal finance or for professional finance, managing it well is very, very important, right? So of course, within an hour time, I cannot tell you all the ways in which you can finance and manage your finance well. But of course, from a business point of view, especially from a startup point of view. So now what happens most often, young entrepreneurs like y'all are very enthusiastic. So you have the idea, you may have the contacts, but you may not have the financial knowledge to actually take it forward. So it's very simple. You need to get money, you need to manage money, and you need to earn money, right? But in a business, there are a lot of complications. So of course, you need to take some more maybe concrete courses like taxes or something like that in order to understand the nitty-gritties of it. But of course, high level, we can look at a few things. Okay, so because sir told me he wants you to do break-even analysis, so I put up a couple of slides together. Okay, but honestly, if you ask me, that is not enough. That is not enough. I would love to do an entire course if you ask me, but of course, we're just looking at very few things over here. Okay, so I hope you're able to see my slide. Yes. Can somebody tell me what do they understand by break even? Forget the analysis. What do you understand by break even?
Means we will be analyzing how to manage a business in phases, kind of.
Okay.
The financial structure and analyzing the
Breaking even the financial structure and analyzing. Okay. All right. Now I'm just trying to put together your understanding. That's all I'm trying to do. There's no wrong answer. Okay. Yes. I think I had cut off somebody while they were trying to speak. Anybody else? Any ideas that come to your mind?
Ma'am, where there is no profit nor loss.
Where there is no profit or no loss. Excellent. Very good. That is the technical explanation and that is a correct answer as well, even though I said there is no single correct answer or wrong answer. But of course, so when you look at a business, the normal thing that comes to our mind is to make profit. Am I right? So nobody makes, I don't think anybody goes into business on purpose going into losses, right? You always think of profit. Why? Because you need a reward for the risk that you are taking. And of course, you need a profit in order to be able to run your business in the future, right? So you need to pay salaries, you need to pay for the rent of the space, you need to buy material, right? You need money for a lot of things. So even if you talk about a business that is not concrete, not brick and mortar, even if you talk about cryptos, you still need servers, you still need miners, right? You still need the system through which you are going to access all this, right? You still need to pay for internet. It's as simple as that, right? So in a business, you have expenses and you have income. So if your expenses and your income is the same, you don't really make any profit. So what we need is what should be higher than the other? Which should be higher? Which should be higher between expense and income? What should be higher?
Income.
Income should be higher, exactly, right? So if we just take couple of these things together, we have something known as the break-even analysis. Are you able to see a graph on your screen right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, great. Okay, so even if you are from engineering or commerce or arts or law, it's fine. This is a very simple graph and I'll take you through it step by step. You don't have to memorize this graph, but of course for somebody who might be studying economics, you may have come across this or you definitely will come across this. Okay, or even for those who are studying commerce, you will come across this in the future, right? So basically, I've just put numbers into a graphical form because numbers as such are very boring to look at. Images and graphs are much more interactive, right? And this is a very colorful image that I found on the internet. So basically, when I say units, that is the quantity that I am producing, okay? So give me an example of a business. So I will take that example and continue with this graph. Give me an example of a business that maybe you want to start. Any business is fine. Come on, 100 people, one business.
I'm like a clothing business,
Clothing business. Okay, very good. Let's say I manufacture jeans, okay, denims, right? So I manufacture denim pants, or what we know as jeans, okay? So the number of jeans that I make is represented on the x-axis, right? X-axis is your horizontal axis, okay? And my income and my cost, so basically amount, any amount is represented on the y-axis, which is my vertical axis. Now if you see, there is this line that starts from the origin, which is 0, right? Here, let me point it out. It starts from here and it's going like this, right? It is my revenue. So basically implying that when you produce 0 jeans, you make 0 income. And as you make more and more jeans, you're selling them. And whatever selling price you set, based on that, you're going to get income, right? Is that simple? Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I have a certain line that is starting from here, okay? Can you see the laser pointer? It starts from here. It's not starting at 0. It's starting somewhere in between 0 and 20. So let's assume this to be 10. So it's starting imaginary at this 10 and then it goes like this. It is called total cost. Can somebody tell me why is the total cost not starting from 0?
Because we need to invest
because we need to invest. Okay, these are cost, right? So even if you start your business and after 2 days you decide not to continue, okay, maybe you don't find that passion anymore, maybe you don't find it feasible anymore, maybe your family is against it, you still have bills to pay, right? You rent a property, you need to pay that rent even if you decide that this is not my passion anymore. So that is a cost that you have to consider when you are deciding what business you are going to do, right? There is an accountant who is working for you. Even though you don't want to make jeans and sell anymore, you still have to pay the salary of that accountant. That is a cost that you have to pay. So in a very financial or economic term, if I say that, I would say there are certain expenses that have to be paid irrespective of whether or not I want to sell my product or not. So we call them fixed cost, right? So you have fixed cost irrespective of the fact that you are producing 1 jeans or 10 jeans or 100 jeans. The amount doesn't change, right? So it is very important that you identify that what is fixed. Now, if you're not going to make any jeans, then you don't really need any denim cloth. You don't really need any thread to stitch. You don't really need any buttons to fix on it, right? So these things depend on whether or not you're going to make jeans and sell them. So we call these as variable cost, right? If you make 0 jeans, your expense is 0 on the material. If you make 1 jeans, you need material equivalent to 1 jeans' quantity, right? Is it making sense? Are you understanding? Are you following what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Okay, so any point of time, if you think you're not able to follow what I'm saying or I'm going too fast, please let me know. Okay, please don't just raise your hand, unmute and just say it. Okay, so if you look at this blue area, it says loss because my revenue line or my revenue curve is actually below and my cost line or cost curve is actually higher. So usually what happens as you start a business, it takes you about 1 year or 2 years or even 10 years for you to actually make a single rupee of profit. Can somebody tell me how many years it took Flipkart to make a profit? It's a startup. They just started off just like you guys. Anybody? You can maybe just search on Google and tell me.
14 years, ma'am.
14 years. So do you think you have the patience to wait for 14 years before you make profit? 14 years is the time, you put a child in school. By the time the child finishes 12th standard, you'll still not be making any profit. That is 14 years. So that's how long break even can be for businesses, right? So again, if you are into a business with small amount where the selling price of things are small, it is generally possible to break even faster. But if you're in a business where your input is very high, the selling price is also very high. For example, construction. Let's say if you're a constructor, you're a contractor, your job is to make, buildings. Let's say you take the construction contract for making a hostel in VITAP, right? Now VITAP's hostel is not just gonna cost, one building's cost is probably gonna run into crores, right? It's not gonna be like 10,000 or 20,000. So in businesses like those, your break even is gonna be much longer. Okay, so this loss period can be 2 months for some businesses. It can be 2 years. It can also go up to 20 years. Okay, so when all these online startups came up, they knew that the time that it is going to take for us to start earning profits, it's gonna be very, very long. But they probably looked at it from a different angle, that once we make profit, there is no stop. It's going to be unlimited. So then that is the model that they pursued, right? Are you understanding the nitty-gritties behind it?
Yes, ma'am.
So business is not always like the marketplace interaction that we always think of. So when we think of business, what comes to our mind is basically product, marketing, packaging and promotion. Sell it, get money. Of course, you're getting the money, but there are so many expenses in the business that money is not enough to cover. So that is where your investors are going to help you to cover up for the loss for all these years. The investment that they give you is to basically cover all these expenses till you give a break even. Now, anytime you go to an investor to make a pitch, right? Anytime you go to an investor to make a pitch, you should definitely forecast, or you should definitely give a projection of when is it going to be your break even, how many years or how many months or how many days. Right? Because as an investor, first thing that a person would like to know is how soon is the business gonna give profits to me. Okay, so like at this point, right, where the profit, the revenue and the cost curve are kind of meeting, that is known as a break-even point. Okay, so here they've put very nicely for our representation. If I just show you, I'll just draw this part. So if you see, it is corresponding to 3 units and the price is corresponding to 20 units. I'm sorry for the crooked line. Okay, so that means when this business is selling 3 units of jeans, then it is able to cover all expenses and reach a no profit, no loss situation. Right? So in order to actually make profit, how many units should it sell?
More than 3.
More than 3. So if you're talking about something that can be divided into decimal, I would say 3.1. But if you're talking about things like a jeans, so I would say 4 units minimum in order to make profit. Right? So this is a very small scale example. So if you're actually talking about a jeans manufacturing unit or a factory, I would say maybe 10,001 units of jeans, 10,000 units of jeans to make no profit, no loss, and anything more than that is going to start giving us profit. So see, once you cross break-even point, then it's all good. After that, it's all profit. There is no loss. Then a loss may only arise if this falls and this continues to go up. So cost never falls, right? That is the truth of our life, that our expenses, our cost never goes down. Our income only goes down. So when your promotional activity slows, your income goes down, or when your investors back out, again your income goes down, right? But your cost never goes down. So again, if you go into a loss situation, then it is difficult to pick up and revive. Then again, you have to calculate your new break even, and then that is how it is going to go back and forth, right? Break-even analysis tells you how many units of a product must be sold to cover the fixed and variable costs of production. It is considered a measure of margin of safety. So I'll come to some of these terminologies that I've used. Okay, margin of safety, and then something like contribution and all will come up. So I'll explain what all of this is. It is broadly used from stock and options trading to corporate budgeting for various projects. So wherever you go, especially if you talk in terms of business, break even is a must, right? So when you look at a business proposals, if I had to say that, okay, if you are making a business plan and what kind of financial information should you include, I would definitely say you should know your break even, you should know your payback period, that is how long before I get a return on my investment, how long before the business starts making profit. Okay, now what do we do if we get profit? What can we do with it?
You can expand the business.
You can expand the business. Okay, very good. What else? Come on, you want to do business, you want profit, but what will you do with that profit? You tell me what you want to do. You don't tell me what is the ideal answer. If I do business and if I get profit,
still my business.
Okay.
And try to better reach in various regions.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Can you come again?
Ma'am, I would like to upscale my business and increase my reach to various other parts of country or the world.
Okay, very good. What else?
Improve the productivity, employment generation.
You all are very honest, you know. If I do a business and if I get a good profit, I'll take a trip to Paris. That'll be the first thing I do. You all won't go? You won't buy iPhone? I think you probably have an iPhone. I don't have one. What will you do? Why do we do business? Do you do a business only to put money back into the business? Do you not want to enjoy the benefits of the business? So as an investor, if you tell me all the profit you're going to use only to expand the business, how long will you expand the business? Maybe the first year profit you will use to expand. Maybe the second year profit you will use. But how long? It's not going to go on forever, right?
Ma'am, as long as people start to use it like a normal thing.
Correct. So as an investor would like to know what percentage of your profit are you going to invest into your business? What percentage of profit are you going to give it back to the investors, right? So if I invest into your business, okay, think of it from an investor point of view. They would want some kind of return, right? So you say first year, no, we're not giving you any profit, wait. Second year also, no. Third year, anyway, investor will say, Arey, give me some profit back. I have invested 10 crores into your business. At least give me 10% of the profit that you made, if not the whole amount, right? So till you don't know what is your break even, you will not be able to project your profit or how much you should manufacture in order to project your profit. Now again, another thing that you need to know is, let's say as per your calculation, you need to make 1000 jeans per day in order to make a profit so that you cross your break even, right? Now tell me something. If you rent a factory which only has the capacity to make 500 jeans per day, will it be enough?
No, ma'am.
No. So before you do any concrete action, you need to do all these analysis. So your paperwork and your financial work should be top notch. It should be complete, transparent. Any question anybody has, your answer should be there in the paperwork, in the financial statements that you're preparing, right? So you will know your capacity. We say plant capacity because traditionally, since whenever we've been learning finance and economics, we always assume business to be manufacturing. But of course, now that is changing. So for a business like Flipkart, you don't really need a plant capacity. They're not manufacturing. They're just collecting, storing from the warehouse they're moving, right? But for even that, you need to know what is the capacity of the warehouse. Or if you look at a business like a chatting website, okay, if you look at WhatsApp or Signal or Telegram, they don't need a plant, they don't need a physical space at all, but they need space on the net. So what is the kind of server that you need? Server has become kind of the new address, right? You need to have space there in order to host your business or host your website or host your web application, right? So for all these calculations, you need to know the fundamental idea does not actually change, right? So does anybody have any questions so far, or am I going too fast or too slow? What is your feedback? I would like to know, because we are through with 30 minutes. I don't want to continue the same way if you're not actually enjoying it.
No, that's fine, ma'am.
That's fine. Anybody has any questions? Okay, I think this is a very smart class. They have no questions. Great. So next we have something known as a margin of safety. Okay, so you don't really have to, okay, maybe you can note down the formula, but I've not put any concrete questions for you out there. The sales level beyond break even is known as margin of safety. So if you look at this graph, here my break even is 3 units, right? If I sell 5 units, let's say, I sell 5 units. Is it more than my break even or is it less than my break even? More. How much more than my break even is it?
2 units.
2 units. So my margin of safety actually becomes 5 minus 3. That is actual sales minus break even sales equals to 2 units. Okay, that is my basically margin of safety. Okay. This is something very important that students need to understand and entrepreneurs will automatically understand. What is your limiting factor? What is that factor that is limited and with which you need to make the best use? Okay, so as a student, right now, what is expected of you? As a student, what is expected of you? Then no expectations from you?
I mean, in general, they expect, like, people expect us to study and get a job.
Correct. So in general, the expectation from you is that you study well and then you get a job, right? So do you think, is there any limitation, anything that holds you back from doing that? You can be as free, because anyway, I'm not giving you any grade, so you can openly tell me whatever problems you face.
Laziness, ma'am.
Laziness, okay.
And financial condition.
Financial condition, of course. So if I say, can you register for 10 courses in one semester, finish your BTech degree within 3.5 years, or your BCom degree within 2.5 years, are you okay with that?
As long as it is manageable, ma'am, we are fine.
So there is something that makes you say as long as it is manageable, and that is what? It's your time, right? I think we all just have 24 hours in a day, and that is a limiting factor for us to do a lot of things. So let's say I become very ambitious and I say I am going to learn French and German and Mandarin together, three languages I want to start learning together. So my limiting factor would be one, time. Second, my brain will not actually support me learning so many different languages together because it is very confusing, right? For a business to perform well, also there are many limiting factors. Okay, one of them is actually money. So like how you said in your life, how financial situation is a limitation for a lot of things for you to pursue. A business also has to know, has to learn. So the business is not a living thing, it cannot learn. So the businessman or the businesswoman has to learn how to use money wisely. Okay, so money may not be money as it is, it can come in different forms. It can be your sales, it can be your material, it can be your labor, it can be the number of hours that you can use a certain machine. Okay, and it can also be your source of income or your source of revenue, right? Different ways in which it becomes a limiting factor. So in such cases, what you need to do is you have to see the best output. So a factor in the activities of an undertaking, which at a particular point in time or over a period of time will limit the volume of output. Okay. So ultimately what we do is take a decision. So in decision making, so basically, you know what, when I used to teach break-even analysis as part of management accounting, we do the same thing. Either as an employee of an organization, you need to take a decision, or as the owner of the business, you need to take a decision. But the decision is the same, only the pressure is less or it's different, right? If it's your own business, it's either you take it forward or you break it over there, right? So what kind of decision do we make? We make decisions every day with respect to how much money to be paid for salaries, how much money to be paid for material, how much material has to be purchased, how many laborers do you want working in the factory, right? What kind of packaging material you should use? Where do you want to minimize your expenses? Where do you want to actually spend so that you can earn that benefit, right? So many different things come into the picture when we are talking about decision making. Then also sometimes if we talk about little expanded decision, you get the decision whether or not you should expand your business. Now, a lot of you said that if you get profit, you want to expand your business to other areas or you want to upscale your business. Why do you want to expand your business?
To get even more profits.
To get even more profits. So do you think expansion comes only with profit? Expansion doesn't cost you more money? What are the costs associated with expansion? Tell me. So you tell me your inputs, then I'll give you interesting examples. Yes. What is the cost associated with expansion? Or what are the benefits and disadvantages of pros and cons of expanding your business to different locations?
Ma'am, first to expand the business, we need to invest in infrastructure first of all.
Correct. You need infrastructure. Okay, got it. What else?
And machinery required.
Machinery is required, yes. So if you're talking about a manufacturing process, you need machinery and heavy machinery.
And salaries for the employees to be paid.
Salary for the employees who are going to work there, very good, because it's not going to run on its own. You need to employ people and you have to pay them. Okay, very good.
And we do need marketing.
Yes, you definitely need to do marketing. Yes. And for a well-established brand, how much do you think the marketing cost goes up to? Do you think it's in thousands?
No, ma'am, it will be in crores.
It'll be in crores, exactly. It's not even in lakhs, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Okay. So now you know what are the expenses associated with expansion. Okay. Now you do your market research. So I'll give you an interesting example. Um, okay. So I don't know if you've been to Delhi or to North India, but compared to the southern part of India, a lot of things are very cheap here. Okay, so when I say it's very cheap here, I don't mean that the quality of the product is different. It's the exact same thing that you get in Vijayawada or Andhra Pradesh that you also get in Delhi.
Nimi, I guess one batch saw us live in Sarojini Market. I took a class.
Correct. Yes.
I don't know which one batch is there. Is there anyone who remembers that Sarojini Market Day video live? 50 rupees, 30 rupees. Yeah, somebody's raising hand. Okay. Yeah.
So some of you maybe saw what Sir is trying to tell here, but just to give you an idea, maybe the clothes that you're wearing right now, okay, whatever clothing you're wearing right now, if you got it for 200 rupees from wherever you bought it, I am very sure, like without any doubt, I can tell you that I can get it for 100 rupees or less over here. Okay, where I stay. So when I say where I stay, I mean National Capital Region of Delhi. Okay, it's not because the quality is different here. It's because it is manufactured in bulk over here. So it is made here. By the time it reaches to you in southern part of India, it becomes costly because the transportation cost is added. Now, for a manufacturer of jeans to set up a business unit in South India from, let's say he started from North and now he's going to set up in South. It is cheaper for him to make it in his home factory and then just push it forward. Okay, instead of setting up a factory again in, let's say, Andhra Pradesh. Because what happens when they come to Andhra, they have to hire people from Andhra to work. They may have labor unions. So, for example, if you know about Kerala, Kerala has a very strong labor union, right? So, if you don't go by their rules, they won't let you work at all. Okay, it's very difficult for business owners, and a lot of businesses have decided never to work there also because of this reason. But these are the challenges that we face with expansion. So expansion doesn't always mean profit. Okay, so you should have these ideas clear in your head. Expansion means profit if you're a brand like IKEA, right, which has already taken over the entire world. So if they open a couple of stores in India and even if there is no sales, it's not a big deal for them because they're making huge profits from their home country and the US and the British region itself, right? So Indians may still prefer a local furniture market over IKEA products because the content is all written in Swedish, and B, why would they want to walk into a big store and then pick when, actually some furniture guy. So at least here, if I call the carpenter, he'll come take the measurement and he'll make whatever I want right in the comfort of my house, right? So keep these things in mind. Okay, again, if you're going for an expansion, you need to know how it affects your break even, right? Then you need to do plant A, plant B combined capacity. So maybe one unit is in Vijayawada, another unit is in Chennai, third is in Delhi. So you need to see capacity at 3 places, cost at 3 places, and then joint output of 3 places. Okay. So sometimes the decision that you make is not just where to expand to. Sometimes also decision comes at which plant you need to shut down if it is combinedly giving you a loss. Okay, if one outlet is giving loss and two are making profits, you don't really have to continue the loss making outlet, right? That is a decision that you need to make as an entrepreneur, as a manager, right? Are you understanding what I'm trying to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Can I get a yes from a majority of the class so that I feel like there's more than 5 people?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, I think there's still just 5 people.
They're giving virtual thumbs ups.
Okay. So I just put a couple of more points over here for us to discuss. What is the financial health of a company? Okay. So how would you say your company is healthy? How do you say you are healthy? Okay, let's start with that. Let's start with something we know. How would you say you are healthy? Okay, so during COVID, I think it became a little more important to us that at least people who look healthy and who don't look healthy. Okay, so from the outside, how do you tell a person is healthy or not?
Ma'am, in terms of business, is small.
Yes, I think 2 people were trying to speak.
I mean, in terms of business, a small loss won't be affecting any kind of performance of that business in the market. That business is
Correct.
said to be healthy.
Okay. What else? Or you can tell me, like, how do you figure out a person is healthy or sick?
I suppose if a person is healthy, then even if he gets like cold or some other small kind of infection, then he will recover quickly and he will be working day and out as usual.
Correct. So even if a person is healthy, even if they fall sick temporarily, they'll be able to carry out the routine work. So by looking at a person, can you tell if they have a heart condition? No. By looking at a person, can you say if they have maybe dementia or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease, something like that?
No, ma'am.
No. So all diseases don't really show a symptom. So similarly, in your business also, you need to look at a lot of things to understand, is your company actually healthy or is your company actually becoming sick? So we won't say that company is sick because a sick industrial unit is something that leads to shutdown eventually. Okay. So that government takes care of it. So if you're talking about a company or a business, simple terms, we look for some ratios. We look at the profit and loss account. We look at the balance sheet. We look at cash flow statement. We look at the cost sheets. Okay. A lot of these are new to you. Okay. So I'll just quickly explain what each of these is. So when I talk about ratios, we look at the liquidity of the company. Do you understand what is liquidity?
Yes.
Yes. Can you tell me what is liquidity? Very good.
Like the amount of cash flow.
Yes, where we're talking about the cash when it comes to liquidity. So liquidity means the ability of the company to maintain and pay off any short-term debts. Okay, so or I would say the amount of cash that is available with the company. Okay, so basically we see what is the liquidity or how much is the liquidity to know that if there is any sudden need of cash, is it there with the company or will it have to take or borrow from somebody else? Okay, so usually we say for liquidity we use some ratios, something known as liquidity ratios or current ratio, something like that we call it. So basically you check, are your assets or your short-term assets enough to cover your short-term liabilities. So assets are everything that you own, liabilities are everything that you need to pay off. Okay, simple, very simply. Anything that you and the business owns is asset and anything that you need to pay off is liability. Okay, great. So we look for some fundamental ratios. So one is the liquidity ratio. Then we look at your, what do we say? We look at the gross profit ratio. We look at a net profit ratio. Okay. So the primary reason for looking at all these ratios is to know the health of the company. What is the secondary reason? As an owner, you would be interested in knowing how well your company is doing. What other reason could be there for us to calculate all these things? Take a guess.
To know the financial position actually.
To know the financial position, yes. So as an owner, you are interested in knowing the financial position of your business. Very good. So that is one reason why we would actually calculate. Why else would it be calculated?
To know the profits and losses.
To know the profits and losses. Okay, very good. And sometimes it is also required by the law. So as an individual, as soon as you start earning, you'll start paying something to the government. What is that?
Tax.
Tax. As soon as you start earning, some of you might probably already have a PAN card, but otherwise, as soon as you start earning, you get a PAN card made, you'll start paying taxes to the government. So even if you say I am a very poor businessman, then they'll say, okay, we need taxes from the business. Okay, because you're running the business in our country, you need to pay taxes to the country. And any country in the world you go to, you will not get any exemption on tax. Right? So when you are a tax-paying citizen or a tax-paying business, there are some government requirements. So as an individual, you need to declare your income. Same way as a business, the business needs to show its financial position and financial statement to the government. Right? It is a tax requirement. It's a law or it's a legal requirement. Okay. So these are basically the two major reasons why we make these documents. Now, third person who would be interested in knowing about all these financial statements would be the investor to whom you pitch your idea for funding. Investor will not give you money without actually looking at your ratios, without looking at your cash flow statement, without looking at your balance sheet. Okay. Even if you are not studying accounting, it is still fine. It is easy to learn all these things, and now you have all SAP softwares and SAP modules to basically make all of this for you, right? What you need to know is how is it done and why is it done, okay? Why is a very important question that most people don't know how to answer, and that is the reason why 90% of your startups fail. That is why you don't ever get the money. Because if an investor is asking you, why is your liquidity ratio so much? So you should be able to tell what is the reason why your liquidity is less? Why is there not enough cash in your business? Where is all the money that was invested in the business? Right? So some idea. Okay. So profit and loss statement is basically it's basically a one pager if you put it that way. On one side you have all your expenses. On one side you have all your income. You take out the difference, whichever is higher. So basically we would all hope for income to be more, expenses to be less. So the difference comes is known as your profit, right? And that profit basically tells us how nice is the business running. Okay, so let's say tomorrow later on you want to compare your business with somebody else's. So these are the numbers you use to see what is your position in the market compared to somebody else's position in the market. Okay, and balance sheet is okay. So balance sheet is again it's a statement. It is made on a certain day. So basically end of the year. Okay, so what is the starting of the year? Which is the date of starting of the year?
1st April.
1st April. So end of the year automatically becomes 31st of March. Okay. So your new year is not 1st January. It is 1st April. Okay. For all financial purposes and for all business purposes. So on 31st of March every year, a balance sheet is made by all businesses in the country, all over the world actually. Right? It is to know the financial position of the business on the end of the year. Okay, what are the total assets that you have? What is the total ownings that you have? So maybe with the money that you got to start the business, you may have purchased an office space. You may have purchased a truck to deliver the goods, right? These are all your assets. Okay, you may have invested some of that money in some kind of a bond, right? That also is your asset. That's your business asset. Okay, but on the other hand, you may have borrowed money from bank to start the business in the first place. that becomes a liability. Okay, so balance sheet is made up of two parts. You have assets, you have liabilities. So assets is everything that you own and liabilities is everything that you need to pay off, right? And the best part is the total of asset and the total of liabilities is always equal. So whoever studied commerce till 12th standard would actually know the pain of how they get the asset and the liability side tallied right before exam. But anyway, again, knowing how to do it by hand is not important. Knowing how to understand what is written in it is more important. Okay. So, and that is balance sheet. Then you have something known as a cash flow statement. Basically, it tells you about the cash position of the business. And we have cost sheet. So basically, the costing of each product. Okay. To give you an example, a product that you all have is a mobile phone. So a mobile phone is basically not made by a single person. So even if you have an Apple iPhone, the screen is made by Samsung, right? So basically Apple is only assembling stuff together. Some processor, of course, is owned by Apple, but not all the parts. Okay, the buttons may be made in Taiwan. The screen is made in Korea. It is all assembled together in another unit and then sold to you. But this assembly, it sounds fun to say that, okay, button was made in Taiwan and the screen was made in Korea and it was shipped everything to US and then it came here. But we need to always look at the cost associated with it. What is the cost of making it in US versus buying it from Korea? Whichever is the cheaper alternative, we use that, right? So a cost sheet basically lists down the cost of each component that goes into making the product. So if the product is the phone, component becomes the processor, the chip, the plastic casing, the metal casing, the screen guard, the buttons, the glue, the screws, the camera, everything. Each component's price is written individually and added up, right? So this kind of elaborate cost statement is known as your cost sheet. Okay, again, you have cost accountants to do that work. So you don't actually have to ever do it, right? Even if after graduating you work for an accountant, you will not actually physically do it. You have softwares to do that work, but you need to know what is there and what it means. Okay, that is the most important part of actually being an entrepreneur. You're not just a manager, you're an owner. You need to know everything. You need to actually know everything, right? So I think that is more or less it from me. I'd be happy to take any questions. I still think there are about 2-3 minutes left. If anybody has any kind of queries related to any of the topic or unrelated, something that you would like to know, please do ask. I'd be happy to take any queries that you have.
You just told about the Apple, right?
Yeah.
So I guess the students would be surprising to see this. Is it visible on the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, no, no, yes.
Yes.
All right, can you see storage is given by Toshiba, Japan, camera by Japan, Sony, display by Japan, RAM is from Samsung company, giving from Korea to Apple. This is all Apple, right?
Yeah.
Chases from China, you know, batteries from China, Wi-Fi module is from China.
So how interesting it looks on this map. That is exactly what I'm trying to tell. So as interesting as it looks for us to see that, okay, the phone in my hand is actually 1,000 pieces from different places. The Apple company manager has to think, how do I make it the cheapest for me and most costliest for the customer? So how can I take different things from different places to actually put together a phone which is top quality but cost effective? So that is the whole idea you should have when you are making your product.
Yeah. Can we just do a small live calculation? I'll give them the calculator.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you just tell, all right, what is fixed cost, what is variable cost?
Yes, yes. So you can put, I think you can put fixed cost at 12,000.
under fixed costs?
So, sorry, I didn't get you.
What all comes under fixed costs?
So under fixed cost, we basically have something like rent, which you have to pay every month, irrespective of whether you stay there or not. So once you take the agreement, you have to pay the rent. Then salaries of employees is a fixed cost. Even if we are in loss, we have to still pay them. So these are typical examples of fixed costs. Electricity bill is also fixed to a certain extent. So if you come to the office, sit, even if you don't work, we still have to pay that bill. So these are all fixed costs. So you can maybe put it as 12,000 or something like that.
Okay, let's take fixed cost as, is it there on the screen?
Yes, yes.
12,000. Yeah, what will be the variable cost per unit?
You can put, yeah, 5 is fine.
5. Selling price per unit?
You can put it as 15.
15. Expected unit sales?
20,000.
20,000. If you put calculate just below this, all right?
So it can tell the break even.
Yeah, your break even is at 1,200 units. So till then, you know, and the beauty of all this nowadays, everything is online.
Yes.
You can see the whole graph. You can see the whole
So
chart.
this is the graph that we had. Now this is more real time with the real time data. And it's basically all the colors are representing different items.
Variable cost, fixed cost. Yeah. So maybe I have these formulas are very clearly given here.
Yeah.
And we will have a problem in the exam. Yeah. And I've also shared this calculator on the chat. Did you people get it? Yes, no, no, yes. Anybody? Did you people get it on your chat?
So we don't have the access to chat in this.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll put it on your WhatsApp. Yeah.
Yes.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Yes.
There are a lot of things here on the link, and I have ma'am's LinkedIn and ma'am's Instagram. I'll put it in your MS team. That'll be better. And you people can, I guess it'll be good if you people can get in touch on the LinkedIn, because this is ma'am's LinkedIn there. Just get along, and I'm sure, and that's a Instagram handle. And can you just tell about the students, engineering students of EIT AP who are like really crazy about stock, and today they're into some good Australian universities, or where are they? They're
Yes, so I think that was, I think 3 of them went to Australia. That was the first batch. So one student from that who is the one who, along with his friends, started Bulls and Bears. Like they came up to me and then they wanted to actually, start a club that would talk about finance. So this is the time when in VIT we just had about 15 or 20 clubs in the beginning. And I think some were started by Samuel sir, Salini ma'am and everybody. And a number of faculty members came in, and then students saw that, okay, somebody is there to teach finance, somebody is there to teach marketing. So they came up with a lot of club ideas. So I'm very happy to say that some of my students have now gone abroad to study. So I hope, many of you also go and achieve that feat in life, or you can definitely work for your home country, come up with great business ideas. So I think a couple of days ago, Sir Pulsen Bear organized some event on startup ideas. I'm not sure if you were there in that. Yes, so I was a judge and I was very happy to see a lot of students come up with a lot of nice business ideas, very nice ideas. And guys, so I work on sustainability. So my research is aimed towards sustainability. Okay, I hope you know what is sustainability. Climate change. So I work on climate change and finance, right? So whenever you look at a business idea, please do keep sustainability and climate change in mind, because that is the next big thing. Okay, the internet era is here, it is to stay. But along with internet, whatever is sustainable is what people will pick up, right? So in any ways you can include socially relevant topics. That is what is going to hit. So if you work on something which has to do with gender neutrality or women empowerment, okay, these topics never get old. Or climate change, cleaning up the environment, okay, recycling of waste and turning it into something useful. So I remember there was a student who came up with a business plan of waste collection, recycling, and then, you know, basically making it safe for waste disposal. So things like that is actually what is going to attract investors in the future. So even if you look at the stock market, even if you look at mutual funds, these are the kind of businesses in which the stock prices are going up, right? So something that is more socially relevant. So that is my advice to you, because that is it. That is the next thing. So by the time you are about to graduate and then come into the actual world of, you know, surviving, that is what is going to be the next big thing. So all the best, and thank you so much for having me today. Yes.
Let's show them a big news what Germany has. I think so. I don't know whether I shared that. Hey guys, can somebody see this picture on the screen? What does it say?
Save the planet.
Sorry?
Without Indians, you cannot solve world problems, because India is.
Can somebody read loudly? One student read loudly, please.
Germany has announced over 10,028 crore for India, saying that the focus on the financial commitment will be to tackle climate change and assist in the country's ongoing energy transition. Every fifth person on this planet is Indian. Without Indians, you cannot solve any big world problems, and one of the biggest is climate change, said German Ambassador Walter Linden.
So whatever ma'am told, it's true. Other countries are giving crores of money. So, you know, money is there. You know, the problem is climate change. So why don't you bring solutions? Climate change is not just about climate, be it water, be it environment, be it whatever. There is money. We just need people. And because this topic is all about finance and finance and finance, yeah, I want to tell you, I keep reading quotes. I keep learning from other speakers. I learned one yesterday. The biggest risk which human being does is not taking any risk at all. I repeat again, the biggest risk which anybody can take is not taking any risk at all. So if you can't take any risk, at the end you will only get rusk biscuit and just keep sitting there and do malish at your side. And the whole world will grow and you will just go the other side. So that's the truth. Okay, quickly switch on your cams, everybody. Digital attendance, picture, and reporting to ma'am. Quick. Everyone, just for a few seconds quickly, and then I'll randomly call someone to give the word of thanks. So put on your cams quickly. And we can say thanks to ma'am. Quick. I can see only Pratyush and Nishit Verma and Devajit is from Kerala. Nowadays, rivers. Are you living under the water or is your house above the ocean? Devjit.
Above the ocean.
Your what? House is above the ocean, no problem.
No problem.
Mimi madam hai, Devjit Malayaliano. Kotiyama. Devjit. Madam Malayalam Nanariyo. Good. So he is a BBA first year grad.
Okay.
Shivji is a BBA first year grad. And Kumal, that's all I have. I have 6 people. And where is? Okay.
It's a male-dominated class. I don't see any women in the screen, on the screen.
They're silent. What do you call the other option of silent option in the mobile?
On mute. They are muted.
No. One more. It's a vibration mode. What is it?
DND. Do not disturb.
Yeah, they belong to that category. Do not disturb.
So girls, if you don't empower yourself, you cannot empower other women. Okay. So if you hide behind the comfort of your screen, which is good during the pandemic, even I have done that, but ultimately, you know, it brings down your confidence. So just assume you're sitting in classroom and then you should just have your screens, cameras on, and you should have that confidence. Otherwise,
I
you will
want to know
graduate without
once-
any kind of presence in the world.
I want to know once if they go to a movie complex, and then book a ticket of $400, and then the theater owner says only audio, no cinema. Right? I want to know what they will do. They'll go and shout and hell and fight. But this not work in the interviews. What will happen is if you're not see in the future, if you can't face camera, you cannot face anybody in the world. So slowly they should pick it up. Yeah, Dwala Sai, vote of thanks, please give a revision and vote of thanks.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Nishit, can you take a print screen and put it? Dwala Sai, unmute.
Yes,
Send it in the WhatsApp group. Yeah. People take print screens and put it on the WhatsApp groups. Yeah. Yeah.
My name is Tavla from BCom Finance first year.
Nimi ma'am, she is pausing to tell you that are you able to hear me?
Yes, I am. I'm so sorry. I didn't respond. I was waiting to hear more.
Voila. Start again. Yeah.
Yes, hello, ma'am. Good evening. We are so glad to have here in the meeting, and we learned a lot of the break-even analysis, and we got a good information from you. And thank you so much for spending your precious time with us. And thank you for letting us know all the information about break-even analysis and what all the things that a company should have a business. And thank you for all that, ma'am.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Sam sir, and thank you to all of you for very patiently listening to whatever I was talking. Okay, I don't know if you understood everything. I don't know if you remember everything, but I definitely had fun. I love to teach, although I've taken a break to focus on my research. But given a chance, I would love to talk to you again. Okay, not to bore you
I
with
guess
numbers or anything, but of course to help you however possible, right? So I think sir shared my LinkedIn profile, so you can always message me on LinkedIn if you have any doubt or if you want me to connect you with somebody who may know better than me, right? So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. It was a great time, and I think sir, I think I've exceeded the time limit by 12 minutes now. These people
no problem.
might want to go and watch Netflix or something. No, they don't want to actually sit and look at me all the
उसमें तो
day.
मर जाते भैया रोजाना तो दांडो सत्यनारायण so no problem.
हाँ तो अब हो गया ना, अब कितने देर हमें देखेंगे.
Yeah. They have aha.com now in Andhra. aha.com.
अच्छा.
Then all three will sit together. They'll say, whoa, aha. And then placement will come. Then placement will say, thank you so much. So that is what will happen. So better. They're very passionate people. They come on guest lectures and anytime. See, today 115 at the evening time. So they're very passionate. That's the reason we're doing this series. They come, they attend. We don't know how it's going to work for them, but definitely some will benefit for sure. And please keep in touch with ma'am. I'll share with you right now in the WhatsApp and in your MS team. Follow her Instagram, and ma'am is so good in stock markets. Why don't we do one thing later on when you're free? Later on, why don't you do a session on the importance of investments in stocks?
We can do.
Because
once when maybe after their exams or something like that. Whenever.
Yeah, but we need a little longer session, no? Live.
Yeah, we might need about 2 hours or something.
Let's do a workshop kind of thing, and then
we can do workshop. Yes,
get them a certificate also.
Yes.
Attended a workshop on stocks and something like that, so that they understand that it's so important whether you're engineering or anyone. They need to invest and become. All right. Thank you all. Nandri, vanakkam. Andarki vandanalu, namaskaralu. Please go. Be safe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you so much. Bye.